I almost did not post this video. I got mad halfway through about that superstore. So it's not a super positive reaction, more like introspective. Maybe it's say more about me than about you guys. But I had some beef with this store, and if you stick around, you're gonna see why I had some beef with it. So
In the small town of Ullared, you find Sweden's biggest superstore, Gekås Ullared. It's visited by millions of people every year, and it's even had its own TV show. The store opened in 1963, but it's moved around twice since then to accommodate all the visitors who want to shop for cheap stuff. I've never been to Gekås before. I never felt the need to fight a crowd of bargain hunters. But I guess that today is the day. It's time to see what you can find in Sweden's biggest superstore.
is huge. So do you have bus that go there? Maybe train, city train?
Ullared claims that you can buy everything for the household that you can fit in a car at the store. And given what I've seen so far, I have no reason to doubt that claim. The store covers a total area of 114,000 square meters. That's more than 28 acres, or more than 21 football fields for the Americans out there. It's bigger than the biggest IKEA in the world, which is in the Philippines, by the way, and not in Sweden, surprisingly enough. But that number of 114,000 square meters isn't all for shopping. The shopping area of the store is just 44,000 square meters. Then there's also restaurants, staff areas, and storage areas on top of
Fish.
that. There are 4 different floors filled with things to buy, and even though each floor doesn't seem all that impressive by itself, let's put things into perspective. The biggest Walmart
I don't know if I'm wrong, but this looked like the kind of store where you find the best price. No? Because it doesn't look particularly like pretty inside. It was never about luxury. It feels that it's more about like everyday people that want to like save money, maybe buy in bulk or thing like this.
in the
I don't know if
entire
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
United
wrong.
States is a bit over 24,000 square meters. That's America we're talking about, the land where everything has to be big. Well, just the shopping area of Gekås in little old Sweden is twice as big as the biggest Walmart in the entire US.
At
So
the same
what should we have a
time,
look at today? Toiletries, clothes, groceries. You can find all of that and much more at Gekås. Or maybe some
like at the same time, you can get completely lost there. So I'm sure that you have store to sell like kitchen thing. You have store that can buy tools. So a lot of people will go to these smaller shop, right, that are more specialized.
my non-existent garden, or some electronics, or maybe sportswear or outdoors equipment. You can really find everything at this store. And it's not just that there's a huge selection of items at the store, it's also cheap. Not super cheap. It's not like you can expect to find things for a fraction of the price
Okay.
here. But it's cheaper than other places, and if you plan on stocking up on household items, it adds up.
Yeah, so it's less convenient because it's complicated, like it's like a labyrinth when you're inside, but it's cheaper than going to a specialized where you go in 5 minutes, you get out. So I get it. I mean, I get it.
Gekås Ullared opened in 1963, but it was quite a different place back then. Göran Karlsson opened the store with his fiancée, and it was located in a normal residence house in Ullared. And business wasn't exactly booming at first. But things picked up after a few years, and Gekås became a common destination for charter buses in the early 1970s. The store moved to a new and bigger location in 1971, and things seemed to be going swimmingly for the budding superstore. That is, until there was a warehouse fire in 1976, and goods for 10 million Swedish krona were lost. That's more than 62 million Swedish kronor today, or 5.5 million euros.
Wow.
Despite that, Gekås was still growing every year, and by 1979, it was the 5th biggest superstore in Sweden. Then there was another setback in 1981. You've heard about the Tesla strike that's happening in Sweden right now? Well, there's been a lot more strikes than that in Sweden. And one of those strikes was against Gekås and Göran Karlsson because he refused to sign collective bargaining agreements, which, ironically enough, is exactly the same reason as for the Tesla strike today. And just like
Yes.
with Tesla, people say that workers
Last year,
mostly
right, or 2
sided
years
with
ago?
Gekås against the unions. Unfortunately for the unions, this drummed up a lot of attention towards Gekås, and it actually ended up attracting even more customers to the store. The store continued to grow throughout the 1980s, but by 1991 there was a major change. Göran Karlsson was the owner and founder of Gekås, but in 1991 he decided to sell the store to 6 of his employees. The price was 675 million Swedish kronor. And that was probably a good deal for everyone involved, because the new owners focused on adding more types of wares and offering better quality. And by 1994, the store had grown even more, and it was now worth more than 1 billion Swedish kronor. But it seems like Göran Karlsson, the previous owner, might have regretted the sale after a while, because in the year 2000 he opened a competing store. He tried to market the store under the name Ullared 2, and he called himself Mr. Ullared. But the court decided that Gekås Ullared owned the rights to the name, so eventually he changed the name of the store to Karlsson instead.
That's true.
He opened several Karlsson stores in different locations,
Yeah.
but the Gekås competitor to be wasn't meant to be, because in 2009 he filed for bankruptcy. Now there was nothing to stop Gekås Ullared from growing even more. Gekås
I have to be
Ullared
honest.
isn't just a store these days, it's so much more. In 2013, Gekås opened a hotel in connection with the store, and previous to that, in 2001, they bought a campsite in Ullared. They also opened a lot of side activities in 2005, from train rides to helicopter rides.
Okay.
There was also a car museum at the location, but it closed in 2011. But there's still a lot of other
Because
things.
I'm trying to look at this. I'm 40, I'm a man, right? Is there any 40 years old men that are going to go there alone unless their wife dragged them to go with the kids? It just feels like the most boring mall market in the world. Like, the color depressed me when I'm looking at this. 80% or 90% of the stuff that I see in the video, I'm like, who's buying this? Some weird decoration that it looked like only if you're 90 years old you would like to buy the little like unicorn thing from earlier. I'm like, who's gonna buy this? This feels outdated. So I feel like the store, because it's so big, and sorry it's my rant, it's filled by stuff that have been on the shelf for 10 years that nobody's gonna buy. Just my little rant, so.
The location, but it closed in 2011. But there's still a lot of
I almost stopped at the video. I had to redo again because I was too mad.
other
Sorry.
things to see and do. If you
I don't want to make a negative video, and I'm sure that it's cheap, which is the reason why I would go, but it's just there's something that feel wrong about this thing being so big. It doesn't look inviting. That's all I'm gonna say. And then the parking is probably crazy, and
don't want to spend all your time shopping, there's a gym and a high rope
This is-
course, or maybe you want to get a haircut or play some mini golf. You can fish or swim or rent a sauna. Oh, and you can rent a bike or play proper golf as well. And there's a lot of events.
what I'm trying to say is that it looked more like an attraction rather than a place that you're gonna go every week to do your groceries and buy stuff for the house. So it feels more like an attraction. But I don't think that it was the intention originally to be an attraction.
At the store too. Famous artists are playing at the store now and then, and celebrities have talks and meetups. And there's book signings and comedy shows and tons of other things. Gekås isn't just a store, it's grown into a Swedish phenomenon. I mentioned that I haven't visited Gekås before, and you might be wondering why if it's such a huge store with so many things to do. The answer depends a bit on where in Sweden I've lived at various times. As a youngster, I lived relatively close to Ullared, but we didn't have a car in our family. So it didn't make sense for us to do any bulk shopping in a town so far away. And on top of that, I found the whole concept a bit silly. I was a rebellious young kid, store visited by millions of
Even when I was young, I'm not buying fake thing for that? For Halloween?
Boring Swedes. Then I moved away from home and I became a poor student, and after that I started to make a career. By then my tastes were getting a bit more pretentious, and I didn't want to get stuff I could buy in bulk, even if it was a bit cheaper. But as time moved on, I started to change my mind again. It's actually really cool to find good deals, and it feels good to stock up on common household items. So I was pleasantly surprised when Andy suggested
See? This doesn't look good. Do you know what? You can find good deal online. It's the best place ever to find good deal. Oh
in a
no,
three-star
am I going
vagabond
to post
Facebook
this
group
video?
that I should
I'm
make
so
a
negative.
video about Gekås
I'm
Ullared.
sorry.
I had completely forgotten about this Swedish superstore.
This
even
place
if
stressed me out.
it's such a huge part of Swedish culture for so many
I'm
people.
stressed.
So at long last, I'm making my first trip to Gekås Ullared, and I get to take part in the mad shopping spree that millions of people experience every year. And I have to say that it's actually pretty fun. I mentioned that Gekås has had its own TV show. The show was a documentary about the store, and it ran for 10 seasons between 2009 and 2021. It was a huge success in Sweden, and every episode was watched by more than 1 million people. The
Damn,
show
I'm
Ullared followed the
sorry,
staff
Sweden.
at Gekås,
Sorry.
and also customers who were visiting the store. I'm not really sure how they managed to have enough interesting content for 10 seasons, but
I think I would like this kind of store more if it was like a yard sale. Like a place outside where it's like this but outside. And it can still be massive. There is market like this in Thailand where they sell all that kind of cheaper thing. And it's in like outside in the open. And I think it would make more sense if it was outside as big as this.
show as a commercial for the store, something that should be illegal in Swedish public TV. And visitors who have been part of the show feel that they have been misrepresented. They're often presented as white trash with quirky behaviors, and there's been a lot of harassment and bullying afterwards. People regret being part of the show Ullared, and they claim that the show's producers have asked them to do strange things that they wouldn't have done normally. And all of this possible manipulation was seen by 10% of Sweden's entire population.
Oh, so was this like a reality show kind of show? Like where they follow family that often go there or something like this?
And all of this possible
I will check
manipulation
after.
was seen by 10% of Sweden's entire population.
I'm curious.
Gekås Ullared is more than 60 years old now, and it's enormous in Sweden and parts of Europe. It's not just Sweden's biggest superstore, it's also the biggest store in all of Europe. At least according to their own webpage. I haven't verified that. It's visited by millions of people looking for good bargains, and probably millions more who just engage in various activities. If you want to visit Gekås Ullared, it's easy to get there by car, but you can also take a bus from many different places in Sweden, or even take
Let me go check the TV show, what he's talking about. So he's saying that they make people look bad because maybe they script the interaction with people? Actually, maybe reacting to this would be even crazy interesting.
Borta på hygienavdelningen träffar vi på en gammal bekant, Madde, som för en
Let me guess, they follow people and they're like, oh my god, you know people that are crazy with coupon and saving money, they follow them around. There's nothing wrong with it. But like they force people to act in a certain way, and that's why some are mad. These shows are all scripted, by the way. It's like reality show.
Jag tvingar henne faktiskt hos frågan.
See, I want to react to this show. Please suggest me like an episode of that show, because I think that now it would be interesting because we enter the human psyche. And I want to understand why people go there, especially people that go there often. 80% of the thing nobody buy, and it seems weird. It's like pretending like it's big, but when it doesn't need to be. I don't know. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna post this video. If you see this video, don't shoot me in the comment. I'm sorry. It's just that I have stress watching him talk about the place because it looked really dark and macabre. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.